Well, welcome back to my channel, Mispronounced Adventures, and well, this is the start of a new travel series. It's going to be a bit of a cold one. Actually, it was -21 last night, but I didn't even intend to film the drive out to Sweden, because I did that last time on my last Europe trip. However, it was a little bit eventful, so let's go back in time and let's see how the drive went. Well, it's how most British overland adventures start. Traffic on the M25 as I make a dash down to Folkestone for the Eurotunnel. Well, we're on the tunnel. I've made it. The van went through an X-ray machine. Something is, some reason, squealing on the back rear brand new disc. Annoying. So 35 minutes time, should be in France, and then I've got a bit of driving to do. I still don't understand how like headlight deflectors go on. Right, time to start. Long way to go. The sky is purple. I don't understand. I don't know if you can hear that. That sounds terrible. Apparently jacked up the offending person. Seems to, there's no scrape there. And then there's no play as like if it was a bearing. I'm certain it's this wheel. Well, not a great start to the trip. This grinding noise is still here, and it's now pretty much every time I'm going about 30 and turning right. And it just sounds like a meaty grinding noise, so I'm getting a bit worried, so I think I'm going to call the RAC. And I'll then come out and have a look, because why pay for European cover and not use it? First garage was a bust. Nice guys, spoke good English, helped me out, but unfortunately it just hardly fits in their door, and they just don't have a lift to jack it up. They said it's just too heavy, which makes sense because they've only got small doors into the garage. So phone back up RAC Europe and see if they can find me a Ford Transit Centre or something. Right, on the way to another garage. The first one I didn't fit in the door, a little bit of miscommunication, but the RAC have actually been really good. They found me another one, a truck garage or something, 1.5 miles down the road. If they can't fix it today, they'll give me a hotel room and stuff like that. So, all being well, hopefully we'll get this sorted. I'm just hoping for a pebble or something stuck in a brake pad or a caliper or something like that. Okay, lovely German guy. Speaks all right English, but obviously his English is infinitely better than my German. He's surprised at they're all brand new brakes and this noise, but I had a video from last night which I showed him where you can hear the at the right speed. So he did originally say tomorrow he'll come back and have a look, but I think after we kind of got to what the issue was, that it wasn't discs and pads needed, that they were brand new, he's just said, right, give me 30 minutes and then we'll get it on a lift, I think, of what the hand signalling and German English words were. Right, quick update. Garage is shut for the day. They've been really cool. Need a new wheel bearing. They can't get the wheel bearing tomorrow. They've tried for me, but they can get it the day afterwards. They've offered me to stay here if I want for 2 days. It's no problem. They've offered me water and hookup. However, the RAC European breakdown does cover like the vast majority of a hotel price for the next 2 nights. So I'm going to get a hotel. Yes, I've got the van, but if someone else is paying for a hotel, why not? Phoned up the Ford garage which did this. By this I mean 5 days before the trip I had all the discs and pads on all wheels replaced, as well as the van MOT'd. Explained some of the issues that the guys here have said that they've damaged the wheel bearing probably during the removal process, and that's why the caliper is not sitting straight, blah blah blah. And also they picked up on a few other minor things, a bit like the slide pin boot covers weren't like reseated properly or placed back. So I mentioned these things on the phone. Didn't accuse them of the Ford dealer. I just brought them up. This happened. She went away for a couple of minutes and then came back going, well, we don't think we wouldn't have damaged the wheel bearing during the process, although it was fine beforehand and I had it done and haven't driven the van since that, and now it's suddenly broken. So that clearly it wouldn't have been them who damaged the bearing. Who knows? Okay, maybe it wasn't. Or maybe they were smacking it with a hammer for 15 minutes, which is what the internal cameras sort of heard. Hey-ho. And then they did say that they would have never touched the slide pins for the caliper because they were only doing discs and pads. So they would have never touched the slide pins. I would have thought to remove the discs and pads without taking the slide pins off and the caliper off to get them out of the way might be quite difficult. But no, they never touched those. Even though they did copper grease the inside of the slide pins and replace the bolts on the slide pins, but no, they never touched them. So they would have never touched the boots on them in any way. That bit annoyed me. Like, I'm not a Ford mechanic, but when I've done discs and pads, I reseat the little gasket which covers the slide pins. There's some schmoo getting in there and it sticking in the future. So they said, but as you're not in the UK, if you were, as a gesture of goodwill, we would have you come in and we'll sort this for you. But what they said is, we'll give you 2 free services for you next time you need your services, which is mad because to get a service done for this van for them is £300 each. They've offered me £600. They made a point actually that the services would far outweigh the price of a new wheel bearing. So they offered me £600 worth of services for something which they denied was their fault in all accounts. But here's £600 worth of free servicing. I don't know. I still think that's to blame. Gonna go for a hotel for 2 days, and I don't know. Then we'll carry on the journey. It was meant. I wasn't even going to film this bit of the trip because I did it last time in the October bit, and it was just going to be like I'm now in Sweden, opposed to anything interesting happening on the route. So I went on Booking.com and booked a nearby hotel. Like there was only like 2 nearby on Booking.com, and yeah, they had 1 room left, and it was the suite. So big bathroom, 1 bed, 2 bed, bedroom, 3 bed, 4 bed. Is that 2 balconies? There's another bed. There's a kitchen. It's a very nice plant, actually. Look at that. So, there's another balcony. Yeah, I thought I was booking a hotel room, and I have ended up booking an apartment. Okay. Garage just called the hotel and told me the part's in, so we're going to go drive over now. It's only about a 10-minute drive away, and yeah, just had a day yesterday of catching up on editing of the upgrade videos and getting them all on the channel ready to be posted. whilst I'm getting a new wheel bearing and I am driving on it, considering I did 500 miles on it doesn't seem to be a particular risk of it catastrophically failing in the 10-minute drive there and back again. I hope. I shouldn't have said that. Well, I've just seen Yeti leave the garage and it looks like they've just taken it for a spin, so hopefully that's it fixed. So weird seeing someone else drive my van.
A lot of rust.
A lot of rust in the bearing.
Very funny.
It's funny for me seeing someone else drive my van. Not fixed yet, but we're working on it. We'll figure it out. Nah, it's definitely the back. So they've just had 3 mechanics now arguing, and I think the next one is they're going to take the entire dust cover off, which doesn't look bent. There's still space behind it, and then retest to see if that's knocking. I mean, there is a bigger gap between this dust cover and that dust cover, but that's coming off next, and then we're going to go take it back for a test spin.
No, it's not nothing.
The adventure continues.
Ja, ganz leicht rechts einschlafen, wenn du irgendwie eine Abfahrt fährst oder. Ne?
So we're now at next town along this Ford dealership and garage. The mechanic from the first garage drove me over there with him, and then a Ford mechanic from this garage drove the van with me and him both in it to replicate the noise, and now it's on a lift and stuff in the back, but I can't come in the back of this one. But yeah, the mechanics at the truck garage is just absolutely stumped. They've got no idea what it is. Hopefully these guys can figure it out.
This is the new parts. It's all okay. It's here.
Yeah.
I make it this, and the disc I can
Slide off.
slide off. And this. Hätte ich jetzt fast behauptet. It's better.
Yeah, small clearance, yeah.
A little bit, we must.
Better than it was. Right. 3rd time's a charm, hopefully it's fixed. Took it back to we had it back into the first garage. We took the caliper and the caliper carrier off, the disc off and the hub off. And then when they measured the mount for the caliper, the top and the bottom were different distances away from the hub, when presumably they should have been in line, because on the caliper carrier they're in a line. So they were persuaded back into position with a hammer and a rod and taps and measuring. And after it was, I think it only had to go a mil back or less. I think it was like half a mil back. Once it was put back on, then the clearance where there should have been clearance between the caliper carrier and the disc was now there. Hopefully I'll illustrate this with these 2 photos. And then we went out for a test drive, and we did all the corners and got them really warm, and did all the corners we were doing before when we were testing the noise, and we couldn't replicate the noise. So another 2 hours worth of labour later, Hopefully it's now fixed. And then I'm going to carry on for the drive. I've said that a couple of times already. Hopefully this time it won't reoccur. But I have no idea how Ford in the UK, when doing discs and pads, have managed to bend the caliper carrier mount, which is part of the axle, because it is a hugely chunky bit of metal. Let's drive. Right, I'm in Denmark. I've left Germany. I've had a couple hours to chill out. As you can probably guess, not been terribly pleased about the last couple of days. Right, border of Denmark was made last night. Today, hopefully, border of Sweden and into Sweden. And I think after I get to Sweden, I can relax a little bit, because I guess it's just borders which concern me, given the current state of the world and requirements. Although, to be honest, no one's, apart from getting into France, there's been no questions. It's just been pretty easy going. But I guess Sweden is the last sort of border I'll see for a bit. Yeah, another day, more driving. Maybe we'll see some snow finally, and we'll find some cold, is what we're after. The noise is still there. I just came off the motorway to put it into services, and I managed to get on a quite tight corner and get it to rub again. It's definitely less than it was, and it's definitely harder to get it to make the noise, but that is still rubbing. I think I'm just going to have to ignore it. So I'm just hoping that I'm going to wear that point of the millimeter off the surface of the caliper cradle carrier, or the disc. It's just a nuisance. It's fine. It's just a little rubbing. It's just a little rubbing. It's just a little rubbing. Just a little rubbing. All being well, no issues at the border, touch wood, and I will see you on the other side. Made it into Sweden and no stops, and they charged me the correct amount on the bridge. Last time I came here they charged me €240 because I think they put me as like a lorry, and customs stopped and chatted to me for a while about where I was going and so on. This time €55 and no customs seemed to be working today. Well, it's my first sign of snow. Right, got some snow, starting a new audiobook. Let's get another couple hours done to Stockholm. Morning. So I drove to about 1 AM last night, just because the roads were nice and clear, really. I'm now just a little bit north of Stockholm, and today more driving to somewhere I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce. It's going to be here, this place. I don't even know if that's a no. Yeah, we're going to try to get there today. Should be about 7 hours north. Wish us luck. Well, finally found some snow and ice on the trip. A lot further north to go. Nice weather today though, and good easy driving. About another 40 miles to go today. It's now snowy. The coldest the van said is -7 outside. Yeah, road driving is easy at the minute. The roads are just clear. There's snow piled everywhere to the side, but there's no snow or ice on the roads. Not a bad view. So a little change of plan for this evening. Got to make a little detour on the drive up north, maybe an hour or so away. Should be an interesting drive, seeing what the road conditions are like, and then carry on back up north. Let's see how we get on with the drive. I just saw a moose. I'm so impressed with the aux beam. No lights, aux beam. Normal lights, aux beam. These tyres are unbelievable. I've just cruised along about 40 mph on these, I guess like ploughed, but still ice, complete ice covered and snow covered roads, and they just grip like absolutely anything. Even did a few like emergency stops just because I wanted to see, and could hardly get them to slip at all. A BF Goodrich KO2 performing like a champ. Also, the aux beam lighting, normal high beam versus aux beam is just like day and night. It's ridiculous. Just had to get a quick video of Yeti and the lights on. But I mean, it's currently -10. Oh, I'm just having a great time. Absolutely brilliant. And that's going to end the very first video. It's going to sort of set up the idea for this trip. Some of you probably guessed who I'm currently visiting. But from here, the plan is to go north, and further north. And there is no real plan. Really, it was to see how I got on with the driving in the cold in the van, and just be free and make it up as I go along. So hopefully you've enjoyed this little setup to the cold series. If you want to see what happens, what's going to happen next, feel free to subscribe, leave me a comment. If you've got any tips and tricks for cold weather, tell me, or if you want to see any particular videos to make on the cold weather stuff, lots of things I've done to the van, feel free. Or if you want to look back to some of the upgrades I made to the van for this cold weather, check on the build channel, or build part of the channel. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me for this first little bit, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.